What happens if Trump loses?
I don't see him losing.
I don't think he lost the last election, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to win?
Yes. Without a doubt.
No doubt.
What if he doesn't this time? What happens to the country?
We're done.
We're in big trouble.
Done. If Biden talks about democracy, saving democracy, they're the ones that are killing democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
Okay,
We
so
are a republic.
We're a republic.
We are
We're
not a
representative
democracy.
republic. We're not a democracy.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
America's not a democracy, it's a republic.
It's not a democracy. Okay, democracy is actually not as good as you think it is.
But for centuries, America has celebrated its democracy.
Democracy is worth dying for.
Democracy remains the definition of political legitimacy.
But some Republicans and pro-Trump media are pushing the idea that America is not a democracy.
The United States of America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
The United States of America is not a democracy. You don't want to be in a democracy.
We are not a democracy. We are a republic.
Is America a democracy?
America is a democracy. It was founded as a democracy.
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories. I hear a lot of things out on the road. But to hear Americans, people who would describe themselves as patriots, say that America is not a democracy, that stopped me in my tracks.
You are hearing people say America is not a democracy because there are people around Trump who want them to be saying that, who've been planting that narrative.
Is America a democracy?
Yes.
No, I don't. I think
Well, not
we're
right
a
now,
republic.
but we're a republic.
What's the difference?
I feel like democracy. Let me think this through. That it's government control. I don't see freedom in democracy. I see freedom in the republic.
Honestly, the word democracy and the word republic have often been used interchangeably. There isn't a meaningful difference between them.
So much of the warnings and criticism about Trump is that he is a threat to democracy, that he is anti-democratic.
Absolutely. If they can convince people that we don't have a democracy, then it's okay that Trump is attacking democracy because it doesn't really matter.
So why has democracy become a bad word?
Because it's being used in a way to change the flavor of our country, which is a republic.
These words were used in different ways in the 18th century, and it's true the founders didn't want direct democracy, by which they meant people gathering on the town square. They wanted representative democracy. But I think the reason why this conversation about language has risen now is because there is a part of the Republican Party that would like to rule as a minority. And they need an excuse for why that's okay. And so they have begun to say, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. And it's not 100% clear what that means, but I think they mean we want Donald Trump to be able to do whatever he wants.
So mainstream media, CNN, they played a gotcha moment at a Trump rally, a Trump convention that was happening somewhere in America. I'm not clear on the details, but it's CNN's goal to play gotcha to Trump supporters when it comes to constitutional republic versus a democracy, even though the ladies that were placed on the spot by the CNN correspondent couldn't on the spot tell the reporter the difference between a republic and a democracy, doesn't mean that they should be portrayed as folks that are just parroting rhetoric from the people that they support. And so my job tonight here is to explain to my viewers the difference between a constitutional republic and a democracy. And it comes from my reading. It comes from research that I've recently done and I've compiled. And now it is all in my brain to deliver to you on this Sunday evening, which is a Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way. This is the Father's Day edition to what I'm about to get into. So I came across an article a couple of research writings here about the difference between a constitutional republic and a democracy. And in summation, this is what it is, and then I'll get to the details of the article and show you some graphic details on, hey, this is how you remember this. If you take a screenshot on your iPhone, your iPad, or your computer on this graphic that I'm going to show you later, this is going to be used as a tool to push back on the lamestream media about painting Trump supporters as parrots, people that are robots and easily programmable, right? My attempt now is to give my fellow American First patriots a way to push back on some of the narrative that's being pushed by the lamestream media, the Biden admin and his deep state fellows. Okay, so basically, I'm going to read from right now from the website here. The website is PEDIAA.com. It's an acronym for something, but I'm not sure what it is. And it goes on to state that the main difference between democracy and a constitutional republic is that in democracy, the general public has the highest power, whereas in a constitutional republic, the Constitution has the highest power. So in a constitutional republic, there is a check and balance between the legislative, judicial, and executive branches. And some may argue that there's a fourth branch of government called the administrative state or the deep state, but that's for another video. The democracy form of governing is the power is to the people, and so there's no checks and balances in that governance model. A group of angry citizens of about 100,000, depending on the size of the town, can be very frustrated about what somebody said, how a politician reacted, or whatever the case is, and then we'll call a snap session one morning, one afternoon, or one night, and fire that person just because of differences of belief, just because differences of relief and the frustration factor in a democracy. So a democracy governed model is flimsier than a constitutional republic, which the United States Constitution has a higher power, and there's checks and balances, and there's limits to what a body of folks can do in a given town or a given state or a situation. I'll go on to read that democracy and constitutional republic are two common forms of government in the modern world. In both these forms of government, the people select the head of state and other officials under a free electoral system. Moreover, these systems share many similarities, and many people use these names interchangeably. So we're basically using these terms like they have equal meaning, but they don't. Again, constitutional republic, the U.S. Constitution is the highest, is the most important document. In a democracy, the power is to the people with being unchecked, no supervision, no oversight. They can fire somebody today and hire that same person tomorrow. It's whimsical, right? Here's a chart: democracy versus constitutional republic, right? In a democracy, because I'm a zigzag. I'm gonna do I'm going to read 1 point from democracy, then I'm going to read 1 point from constitutional republic, then go down the line in a zigzag. So here we go. In a democracy, democracy is a form of government where power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or through freely elected representatives. Under the constitutional republic, constitutional republic is a system of government in which the head of state and officials are representatives of the people. So in this 1 point alone, in a democracy, the people have direct feed into what's going on in their government. In a constitutional republic, the people have a direct feed into the representatives that they send to DC to speak on their behalf. Okay? In a democracy, general public has the highest power, like I said before. Under a constitutional republic, the Constitution has the highest power. That is the way our forefathers made it so that there isn't one majority rule over the minority for an extended period of time. Lastly, under a democracy, in direct democracy, people exercise their power directly without using representatives. Under a constitutional republic, there have always been representatives for the people. All right. Then it goes on to say, what is a democracy? Democracy is a form of government where power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or through freely elected representatives. The word democracy comes from the Greek words demos, which refers to people, and kratia, which refers to power or authority. Therefore, democracy is a system of government that gives power to the people. The concept of democracy has evolved over the years. Democracy originated as direct democracy, where people can decide on policy initiatives without using legislative representatives as proxies. However, the most common form of democracy today is representative democracy, where people elect officials to create policy and laws on their behalf. So basically, what those last two sentences were saying was that we operate as a constitutional republic. If you scan the U.S. Constitution for the word republic, it's mentioned a bunch of times in there. Nowhere in the document has the word democracy in the Constitution. Besides that, when you look at the last two sentences here, it is basically saying that we are under a constitutional republic, but we democratically elect representatives to represent the people from various districts across the United States. So there are differences between republic and democracy. We've already gone through that, but in modern times, the republic is basically the form of government that we've adopted since the Constitution was drafted. But mixed in is a democratic way of electing our government officials to represent us in Congress and DC. Let's move on. Moreover, freedom of speech and assembly, inclusiveness and equality, consent, right to life, voting, and minority rights are the foundations of democracy. Furthermore, we can observe four main elements in a democracy. They are a political system where the government can be chosen and replaced through free and fair elections, active participation of citizens in politics and civic life, protection of the rights of all citizens, and the rule of law in which the laws and procedures apply equally to all citizens. What is a constitutional republic? A constitutional republic is a system of government in which the head of state and other officials are representatives of the people. They are elected by the people, and they govern the state within an existing constitution, typically a written constitution. Moreover, the head of the state or the representatives do not have uncontrolled power, as their power is limited by the Constitution. John Adams, the second president of the United States, described a constitutional republic as a government of laws and not of men. Again, the hits on the comment that I made earlier. A democracy in its purest form is whimsical. It's born the snap elections or passing of laws will be based on emotion and not well-founded principles that are more long-term in nature. When you operate out of emotion, when you let frustration and pet peeves drive your leadership, that leads to short-sightedness in making decisions that will ultimately, if you're not careful, destroy your nation if you're not more careful as to the longevity of those snap decisions that you're making under a democracy. So we got to be careful about that. Constitutional republics generally have a separation of powers. This means executive, legislative, and judicial powers are separated into distinct branches. In addition, there is no single office holder has a claim of unlimited power like in a democracy. The United States of America, India, Republic of Ireland, and Ghana are examples of constitutional republics. Furthermore, Aristotle was the first to explore this concept in his works on politics. However, in practice, this term is not very clear. In real-world politics, there are republics where the head of state can ignore the Constitution. There are also democratic monarchies with unwritten constitutions and where the monarch is not the head of government. The difference, again, in closing, the difference between democracy and constitutional republic is that democracy is a form of government where power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or through freely elected representatives. Meanwhile, a constitutional republic is a system of government in which the head of state and officials are representatives of the people. And lastly, in a democracy, the general public has the highest power, but in the constitutional republic, the Constitution is the highest power. And so a couple of more points that I would like to make, and which is this. It is incumbent upon everyone listening to this channel right now to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you heard, because more of this education needs to get widespread to thousands and thousands of people, because the mainstream media is dependent on the average person not to do something as simple as Googling what the difference between a democracy and a constitutional republic is and be able to articulate that on the fly when pressured into making a distinction between the two. We have to be smarter. We have to be on our toes. And as American First Republicans, if we expect to win this year and years following, we need to do due diligence into the topics that we care about, because we are going to be quizzed. We're going to be challenged, and we're going to be put in a box as brainless, deplorable robots that parrot what, whoever we're following want us to parrot. That is not the truth. The truth is that we fully believe in this country. We love America, and we love all the people who sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears for this country. And we want a better future for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. Okay? So like, share, and subscribe. Get to the grindstone and put in the work. If 1 million of us had 361 followers on any social media platform pushing this real education, I guarantee you we would spread like wildfire, and we will be the smartest, toughest people on planet Earth, and there's going to be nothing that's going to stop us from getting to the ballots, getting to the polls this coming November 5th. So God bless you. God bless America, and have a good night.